Good evening, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Black Talk Platform, where I am your host, Dr. Deborah D. Jenkins. I am so excited to be back. I have enjoyed the summer, and I am officially back, but with a story that should be pulling at the hearts of all people, but in particular, the Black community as our family down in Jackson, Mississippi has and is experiencing a water crisis. Yes, we know that they are often in flood area and that they have just had a flood, but this flood was a little different in that it affected their water filtration center, the one that gives most of the water to the residents of Jackson, Mississippi. For those of you who don't know, Jackson, Mississippi is the capital city of the state of Mississippi. And it should strike us in a different way than it just being any city, because as goes the capital city of any state, goes the rest of the state. There are some political implications around why the people of Jackson are without water. But we have someone who is our guest tonight in the person of Mr. Lee. I don't want to mess up your name. Mr. Lee Coffey, who is the CEO of MSM Distribution LLC, and he is also a licensed distributor for 1186 Real Artesian Water. Once they heard about the water crisis in the city of Jackson, which Mr. Coffey is a resident of Mississippi, they sprang into action to begin providing water to the citizens of Jackson, Mississippi. Why am I highlighting Mr. Coffey today? I'm highlighting him because he is a Black-owned business in the state of Mississippi who is a licensed distributor of 1186 Water, which is also owned by another Black business, a family owned business in Alabama. And they have really, really pushed in to this crisis. And he is making such a huge difference in the city of Jackson by distributing water. I knew that I needed to expose those of you who have not yet heard about Mr. Coffey and his company to you tonight. So I would like for you all, along with me, to welcome Mr. Lee Coffey. Welcome, Mr. Coffey, to Black Talk Platform. Thank you so much for all that you and your team are doing to alleviate the water crisis down in Jackson, Mississippi. Why don't you share with us more that I perhaps did not share?
Well, like I said, first of all, I want to thank you for bringing me on to your show, for even having us and giving us the opportunity, to spread our business to other people who might not heard of us or know about us. But we've been doing a lot within the city of Jackson. It's been a rough, time, seeing people who having medication and can't take their medication but not having clean water. Or you got kids that's skin breaking out because they didn't have money to get to the stores. And when they did get to the stores were sold out and they couldn't go to other places to get water. So some of those people had to take chances in boiling water. So I seen kids whose skin would break out. Just a lot of heartbreaking, it been different results in different areas. That's what I started to notice. But overall, it been bad, in general.
Wow. And those are the skin breaking out part is something that we don't often consider with the lack of water. People tell us that we should drink half of our water, half of our weight in water daily. And most of us take it for granted. Some people say, I don't even like water. But when you have no choice but to go without it, such as the case in Jackson, it becomes that much more important to you. And then you highlighted elderly people or people who are on medication not being able to take their medication. These are the things that we really, really don't think about. We typically think about the big things like taking a bath, and using water for cooking. You have just sort of taken this crisis on as one for yourself. Tell us why you decided to be such a huge benefit to the city of Jackson.
Well, first of all, like I come from the struggle, so I know what it's like, not to have nothing. living check to check. And then when a crisis like this comes, you still got to pay bills and you got to survive. So, me growing up in a household such as that, I know how it would feel. So for me having water, I know what my water could do, help people. It was bigger than me. It was bigger than money, bigger than fame. It was more about, I helped you, you helped me. So I'm going to the city, hand and feet, whatever I got to do, because at the end of the day, I'm for the people. Like I didn't see a lot of officials out there, passing stuff out, like we was. I didn't see no CEO, period. Like I'm a CEO myself. I'm hand and feet with the people every day passing water out. Like some of these bigger brands who sending water, I don't see they CEOs out there, but I'm hand in hand with the people. I'm letting them know whatever I can do, from my standpoint, I'm there for them, because at the end of the day, it's no color gender on water. Everybody got to drink water.
That's right.
I'm bringing the best water. Some people sending water, it's the purified water, which it had chemicals in, but I'm bringing a high grade, ultra premium water. So it's a difference, and I'm giving it away.
Wow. Let's talk about the water. Let's talk about the water. First, let me ask you, aside from the water, do you transport any other products, or is it just the water at this point?
No, ma'am. When I first got into it, it was just the water. I seen, a lot of benefits from doing stuff all natural. So anything I felt like I was going to distribute it was going to be all natural products. I didn't want, if I have had other brands who reached out, maybe said, I see what you're doing. Can you distribute our product? But again, it's like, if any chemicals or any additives in it, I don't want no part of it. I'm not giving the people something that I want to take myself.
I love it. I love it. And I asked him that, audience, because I need you to see that his level of commitment is not driven by commerce. It's driven by a desire to help people who are in desperate need of water right now. He has just shared with us that he comes from a background of struggle, and he wants to do his part to help reduce the struggle that our brothers and sisters down there in Jackson are currently experiencing. So explain to us again the distinction that you just made between purified water and the 1186 artesian water that you distribute.
Well, first of all, water don't have ingredients. So you look at your bottle and they got ingredients are added to it. It'll tell you there, this man made, they have two, basically water that come out your faucet, tap water, which is purified water, and they will, take all of the chemicals out and add their chemicals back into it, basically reverse osmosis. They will add the ingredients they want back in, put it in the bottle, and sell it to you on the shelf. So you basically paying to kill yourself slowly, in a sense.
Woo. I'm so happy you're talking about this. Go on, go on.
So the water we have is all natural. There's no chemicals, no additives, no preservatives. It's a natural pH balance of 6.9. And when you drink the water, you're the first person to drink the water in hundreds of thousands of years. We haven't tampered with it. It's straight from the ground to the bottle itself.
Yeah. And I was sharing in church yesterday a little snippet similar to what you just shared with us about how it's well water that has not been sullied by the chemicals that often seep into our environment, into our dirt and our soil. How have you all been, and I don't want you to share any trade secrets, but I think this is a huge blessing, and I believe that it comes at a critical time. I don't want to name other brands, but we do know that there are brands out there. They are major brands distributed by major corporations. As he said, you don't see any of the CEOs out there from these other water companies, but he is out there not just transporting the water, but he's also the CEO ensuring that it's distributed in a way that allows people to maintain their dignity as well. There are waters out there that some of us have bought that we know has been determined to just be tap water. And sometimes we have issues with our tap water, even though I know that the people in Jackson would love to be able to use their tap water a little bit more. With your water being so pure, does it cost much more than the brands that we are accustomed to getting in our supermarkets?
Yes, it is. Our motto is having ultra premium water for a mainstream cost. So basically we have, like I said, 1186 water. with no chemicals, all natural. We sell them for $10 a case, which is a 24 case. This is roughly maybe 31 cents a bottle. It's the cheapest ultra premium water on the market found anywhere.
That's actually not very expensive. It's really not. I mean,
The fact that we beat
sure.
every market out, every water brand is on the market. We beat everyone from a raw standpoint before we even hit the bottom. So all of these high end brands that they paying $20, $30 for, we
Yeah.
beat them half of the price.
Yeah, yeah. And we want people to support you because I think when you start at the base level, first of all, if you start at the base level, we need to drink plenty of water every day for our bodies to function optimally, right? Most people aren't going to get to that half your body weight level. But if we just drink the water, we just, after thinking about or after agreeing with ourselves that we need to drink the water, then we do think about the quality of that water. A lot of us will purchase these name brands that have been out there on the shelves for many, many, many years, and we're paying so much more only to find that the quality isn't good. I'll give you an example without calling the name. I was in the supermarket one day and I was about to buy a very common brand. It's considered good, but a common brand. So an elder told me, stop buying that and buy this. So because he's an elder, I said, okay, I'm going to try it. It's much more expensive than that more common brand. But what I found, and I was buying it for about 3 years up until recently. And when I say recently, this year, it leaches. It leaches. And so when I would open it, I would literally have to sit it aside for 5 minutes to make sure all of that leaching, whatever chemicals they put in that very expensive water, was gone by the time I drank it. I drank it because it is expensive and I purchased it. I want to know how is your distribution nationwide? Are you all distributing nationwide already?
We ship everywhere.
Okay.
Globally, we ship everywhere. We currently are in 15 states and growing. We have distributors spaced out in certain areas. Uh, like I said, we still just getting bigger by the day. But if people like to get it, they can go to the website and we'll ship it out. But also we have a distributor in the area. We will advise those to reach out to the distributor because with the shipping, the water may it gonna cost a little more because it weighs 30 pounds. But if we got a distributor in your area who close by, they will either meet you or they will do a home delivery or it might be in a local store close to you.
Okay, that's awesome. Now, I'm not going to ask you to go through all 15 states, but are you in the Northeast? Do you have any
Uh,
distributors in the Northeast, I'll say?
um, I think so. I can't remember off the top of my head right now because I got so much going on, but I'm quite sure we do. Because we
Okay. We want to make sure that his 15 states expand to all 50. That's one. And we're talking about the water right now. We're talking about the water before we sort of drill down on Jackson specifically, because I really want you all to support 1186 Water. They have swooped in to help solve the crisis that is currently occurring in Jackson, Mississippi. And I think that that is a yeoman's job that they have. I'm privileged to have Mr. Coffee here with me for this short time today to just give him his flowers. I want to give him his flowers because he decided that this is not about money for me. But guess what? The water does cost. He has not asked me to do this, but I am making a call to action. We want to help him and his company continue to distribute the water to the people who are in need in Jackson. He's already said that they are a case of 24 is $10. Is that correct?
ultra premium water.
For the ultra, and it's ultra premium water. Now, yesterday in church, I asked the people, can you all please spare an additional $10? I didn't even know that it's only $10 a case. And I say only $10 because here in New York, everything is just so much more. So if it's $10 in Mississippi, it's usually between $12 and $15 here. So 10 sounds like a steal to me, especially because it's ultra pure water. It makes a difference. You've gone to different places and you've tasted different water. And if he's saying it's ultra pure, we're going to taste the difference immediately. I bet once I get my case, I will taste the difference between their water and that other fancy water that I used to purchase up until the beginning of this summer that leaches. And I hope and I expect that it won't leach because they are staking their reputation on it on their website. Now let's talk about Jackson. I've been watching your videos and the videos posted by others. Want to shout out to Black Grassroots Media, who actually, she's the one who introduced most of us, definitely me, to you, because she had gotten connected to you all. So shout out to my sister for doing her thing to push out the message of the work that you all are doing. So I'm watching your videos. You are distributing a lot of water. How are you all funding it? And I know you said you all are not charging the people in Jackson, but I know that it does cut into revenue. Can you talk to us about that? I don't want you to be shy because you are in business. I want us to know how to best support your efforts so that your business won't suffer as you're trying to be altruistic here.
Okay, well, first of all, let me say a special shout to Miss Angela Lewis from Black Grassroots, because she reached out to me and she took the story and been running with it on social media, especially on Twitter. So I do, like you said, I want to give her flowers now, because it probably wouldn't even be possible, without her doing networking, to get us where we at right now. But for us, me with the water, we've been taking a lot of donations. People have been sending us a lot of it. We've been paying for out of our pocket. If I feel like I made any money from stocking stores on my regular routes, I would take, what I usually pay myself, and I would buy more water, and people would donate to it. We have, church organizations that would send, people would send stuff. A lot of people from all Twitter, would donate money, and with the donation they would send, I would just get the water and, keep distributing the water. It just kept going as the donations got bigger. It was more water that we was able to do.
Wow. Wow. I'm so excited. First of all, look, shout out to the Black family. To the Black family, okay? Everybody who watches Black Talk platform, I'm unapologetically Black. I'm happy for any allies or any other people who support anything that affects the Black community primarily or in a majority way. But I mean, to what Mr. Coffee said earlier, everybody needs water. There are other people in Jackson. We happen to be the majority of the people in Jackson. And so, of course, if you're helping any, you're helping all, right? But right now, I'm so pleased with what he's doing because he is helping people who look like him, people who look like me and others, right? We don't want him to go broke, though. We don't want him to go broke doing a good thing. He does. Eventually, he will begin to feel this. I tell you, I promise you, he has not asked me any of this. I just thought it was very important to bring him on. And I did not know that he's paying for this out of his pocket apart from the donations. So what he just said to us is that if he has another job wherein he earns revenue, he's taking that and putting it into the water to make sure the people in Jackson are fed. How far are you from Jackson in terms of your home base?
About 80 miles.
80 miles? That's about an hour half.
About an hour.
I forgot because they drive real fast down there, right? Their speed limit is higher. Okay, so he's driving a whole hour from his base, right? To make sure that our people in Jackson are receiving this water. And gas costs. We all know how expensive gas is now. I'm making this plea on his behalf. He didn't come on here to make a plea on his behalf. We need to support his efforts. He has a whole team of people who are working with him, who are in his employ. How can we best help Mr. Coffee in terms of where do we go to the website? Tell me what we need to do to help and support your efforts down there.
I'll basically tell you, if you got people that need water here, let them know we got water. If they want to make donations, they can donate us outside of our business and personal stuff. We saw the side of Cash App, which was MSM Distribution LLC on the Cash App, that people could donate money, and they would hashtag Jackson Water Crisis, and we would take that money, and purchase water and keep going.
Okay, it's MSM LLC. For the cash
distribution LLC.
Okay. I want to make sure it's correct. And then I'm going to insert it. We are pre-recording, everybody, so we will have that up there for you. I really want to see the Black Talk platform family support the work of MSM Distribution LLC. So we're going to put the Cash App here for you so that you can go and definitely support him. I don't want his business to go under doing a really good thing. The people in Jackson, how are they receiving all of the assistance that you are giving them?
Oh, they love it. They love it. Like my biggest joy is, when we first giving them the water, they not knowing of the water or haven't tried it before. And so once they trying it, it's like once they come back to the water drives and they see all of the purified and other water, they don't want to get that water. They don't even want it. When they gotta taste the real water, it's like, oh, we coming back, we want to get that water. So it's like it's a blessing. And then just to see the smiles on their face, just to know we help out like this, they're priceless. You couldn't put a price tag on it. So, I love it. I know we making history at the same time. So it's bigger than me.
Yes, yes. And you know what? Shout out to a larger platform than this, but a major media player who's been around for many, many years, who has picked up this story. I tried to get the Mississippi Free Press to pick up this story, and I think they retweeted my call to them to focus in on Mr. Coffee, because that is your story, is really the story in my opinion, right? They're a great outlet down there, but that's not the outlet that I'm talking about. I am talking about Roland Martin Unfiltered, is that correct?
Yes, correct.
He has almost 1 million followers, and this is not to promote him. This is his people have been watching what Mr. Coffee and his team are doing to help our people in Jackson. And I think it's a wonderful thing that he is also being interviewed by Mr. Martin later on this evening as well. Listen, this is all boots on the ground. This is a family affair, and Mr. Coffee has emerged as the leader to ensure that our people are taken care of. I have to ask, I'm a very politically minded person, so I can't leave out the politics here. I need to ask you, has Mayor Lumumba heard of what you're doing? Has he been a part of it? What is the city of Jackson doing in terms of in connection with your work, or if
Uh,
any?
well, we haven't, did any work. I have spoke with Mayor previously before the flood or anything came, maybe a few weeks ago before that happened. I met with him. I told him, I had water. If the city ever was in trouble, I could assist him. But again, I know a lot of things been going on with the city. A lot of stuff, haven't been coming out the way they probably expected, and due to the media getting everything, I know they've been overwhelming with calls and messages. So I tried reaching back out to the city a few times. I couldn't get with nobody. So, I just went upon myself to get with some people out of the community and all, and, just to go ahead and get water to the people. But like I said, he's a great friend of mine, great brother, real humble. Like anytime I needed something, I could always reach out to him. So, and a few people at the city, when I first started with the water coming to Jackson, I didn't know who to find out, to get it in certain places. And a lot of those people, which was our color, sat me down and started teaching me, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. So, they have played a big role in what I have going on in Jackson. But for as during the water drive, we haven't, officially tied into anything to do it together. I know they've been busy, getting water here, and I've been busy bringing my water here.
Yeah, yeah. I'm thinking that that's about to change with all of the exposure you're getting. Would you like to shout out any of the partners that you have down there on the ground, any organizations, any churches where people who are in Jackson can go to find, how are they getting the word about your distribution efforts?
They've been running me on the radio stations here, and mostly mine been, guerrilla marketing, word of mouth. I'm always wherever the people is, I'm always where the people is. So, once I started passing the water out, it was a domino effect. I'm getting people to try water they never tried before. A lot of people who don't even drink water wouldn't even take the water, but once they drunk it, they were like, "Oh, this is my new water. I could drink 20 of these a day when I couldn't drink no other water, So it's just started to get bigger, and I started seeing like everywhere I went, the water would flow. It just, like I said, it made a domino effect. I gave it to one person, he gave it to somebody, and it just triggered down, and everybody came back, wanted to know, the quality of the water. How did we get the water? Just wanted to learn more.
Right. I think that's awesome. I have to tell you just a little bit about me. Here in New York, I do a lot of stuff, but one of the things I do and started during 2020 was working with young people. I've always worked with young people, but I wanted to give them something more meaningful to do and to have them buy in to their community when things go wrong in the community, whether it's from law enforcement or people within the community causing trouble. I wanted to have young people who really want to go forward do something that's very positive. And so I wrote curriculum for a program that I call On Code Rapid Response Team, whereby if there's a police shooting, if a young person or an elderly person gets hurt, or any upheaval in the community, this team would come together, mostly black and some Latino men, but black young men between the ages of 16 and 24, to go within the community and provide assistance wherever that assistance is needed. And so one of the things that they are very adept at doing is distributing water. So we have news broke here in New York that one of our housing projects down in Lower Manhattan, the Jacob Riis houses, they found high levels of arsenic in the water. So over the weekend, Mayor Adams was distributing water. What I would have my On Code Rapid Response Team do is take some of your 1186 water down to the people who are about 2,500 people living in the Jacob Riis houses and distribute it, because it gives them an opportunity to be a part of the solutions, so they won't have to wait until they're like older like us, right? And try to figure out ways to do it. If they start while they're young, it will become a part of what they do. So I'm making this a public in that I'm going to buy several cases of water so that we can go down there, the On Code Rapid Response Team, and support the people here. And most of them are elderly, and the fact that you were talking about the medication, that's a big deal. That's a really big deal. And while the city is distributing water, we want them to have the pure water. So we're going to support your company by purchasing some waters and have them shipped here. We will talk offline, or I will speak to whomever you would have me speak to in order to get some waters down there to our neighbors in Lower Manhattan. Also, we're going to, our church is going to support you. Once we get those donations that I requested yesterday, we're going to support your efforts to continue to distribute. And I'm hopeful for all of you church folk out there watching, especially via Facebook, please support MSM Distribution LLC. They have an active Facebook page. If you're not on Twitter, please follow them on Facebook. They also are very active on Twitter. If you want to get like rapid information about their distribution efforts, you probably want to just hop on over to Twitter and follow their page. You don't really have to sign up for Twitter to find it, but you can see everything that they're doing. The beds, the distribution of water, they're filling up trucks and they're giving it to the people. There are about 150,000 people in Jackson, am I correct? Or somewhere nearby there, by there?
Yes, you're correct. About 180,000, I want to say.
Yeah, that's quite a lot of people to be without water to wash and to drink. So what you're doing is so incredibly important, and we are very grateful for you. How else can we help you, and how long do you foresee this project being one that you're able to continue to do?
Well, like I said, I want to be here. I'm on it, hands in the air, foot on the ground till it's over with. Every day till the water crisis get fixed. I mean, I have water, so why not?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
these
absolutely.
good, I'm gonna be here, helping the people, because at the end of the day, they the one who gonna call the shots on what happened and what not.
Absolutely. And I really appreciate your dedication. I'm very hopeful for those who are listening, who have the authority and the power, that you all will give Mr. Coffee and his company a contract to distribute the water. It doesn't always have to be the known water factors. Let me give an example, and you can correct me also where I'm wrong. So I was on the 1186 website, and I was listening to one of the videos of a distribution partner that I believe they have down in Alabama, which happens to be Budweiser, a Budweiser
Right.
distribution. Right. And that's a household name for those of you who don't know, household name. They huge. But the owner of this particular distribution center said it was a win-win situation because there are some clients that they have that don't necessarily want to see a Budweiser beer truck drive up to their establishment, so they partner with 1186, right? Which is wonderful. That is a huge contract for them and partnership for them to have. Let's ensure that they're able to get other huge strategic partnerships such as Budweiser, because we want to ensure that long after the crisis is over, that MSM Distribution LLC is able to continue to serve the city of Jackson, not only the city of Jackson, but the entire state of Mississippi and beyond, Tennessee, a neighboring state, Kentucky, a neighboring state, that they're able to see his business grow because he is doing this thing from his heart. So we need those donations to come in. I will again run the Cash App, but I'll say it right now. It's Cash App MSM Distribution LLC. Whatever amount, we already know the base price for the case of water, which includes 24 bottles, is $10. So think like that when you determine how you're going to support them, so they can get this water out to the people. 180,000 people without water. That's a whole lot of people. And we are so happy, Mr. Coffee, for the critical role you are playing. As we prepare to wrap up, are there any other final points that I've missed in asking you, or that you believe will be helpful in sharing with us, the audience?
I just want to say, I think what you said about the contracts would be good. That would help the business a lot, because a lot of things people don't know is that by us having our own source of water, natural water from the ground, if it never rained again after today, we had enough water to last for another 136 years.
Wow, that's incredible.
It'll rain sometime this weekend, and it'll push that date back some more.
Right. That's incredible. 136 years if it never rained
Right.
again. Who even thinks? We don't even think about 10 years from now in terms of water, right? Supply.
Right.
We don't even think about it. But what Mr. Coffee just said is that if it never rains again, where they're getting their water from, they have enough to power generations that will be here long after us. And that is such a wonderful thing. And so we want to see the investment in his company from the government, because we know the government has the money, but it's also pure water that distinguishes it from other waters that lots of time local municipalities have contracts with. It's a matter of sales. It's a matter of sales, but we are believing that with the attention you're getting, because you're just doing this from the bottom of your heart. And what did he say? Because he has the water. And that's what is needed right now. Because he has the water, he's doing this. But we want to see his business flourish and thrive. And so to get him there, he's going to need some government contracts. And what better place to begin than in Jackson, where he is giving back so heftily. And I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you, because what you're doing is incredible, Mr. Coffee. I wish you nothing but the very best, and for you and your family and your whole team, and that there will be many more Mr. Coffees out there to respond immediately, rapidly, to the needs of any community that is without water. Giving you the last words here.
But I just want to say I thank everybody for everything they did. I appreciate you for bringing me on your show to expose, what I'm doing for the community, shed light on our small business. Anything anyone give is appreciated, whether it's $1, $10, or it's just a prayer, or even just a call and say, hey, man, we appreciate what you're doing. Keep going. At least we know the people is behind what we doing, and it's not going for no lost cause, and we still helping people at the same time. And on the last note, I want to say, we making history together, and it's not only me. Like, we giving the world something they never had before. So years later from now, it gonna be in the books to say what we did.
Yes, yes, I totally agree. Mr. Coffee, thank you so very much. And you are indeed making history, and you are ensuring that our people have clean water, pure water, the best water, 1186 artesian pure water. God bless you and thank you so much. Don't leave, Mr. Coffee. I'll see you in 1 second. Thank you.
All right.